right, Katie. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. For those watching, Katie's one of the leaders here at Alkami that really helps drive our implementations, our launches for our bank and credit union customers for our digital banking solution. And Katie, I know how personally and how seriously actually that you take that mission. Couple questions for you. One, how many launches have you personally been involved with? And then I guess the second question would be like, what drives you to do this? Because it's not easy work.
Yeah, it's not. I personally stopped counting at 150 launches with Alchemy.
Wow.
So I have been here 7.5 years. And before joining Alchemy, I have spent 11 years in the banking industry. So everything from being in branches to product and PMO and treasury. And so I came to the dark side of software. And I love what we do because I've sat in that seat making those decisions and knowing the impact that it has on the end users. And at the end of the day, those users don't call Alchemy. They call the bank, they call the credit union,
Yeah.
and it's their brand on the line. And so when we get to serve them in a way that's successful, that is just so much fun for me. So yeah, I love it.
No, I agree. Now I've heard you say this a few times. I'll see it in the Slack rooms and things. You'll say like hashtag boring launch or, it's boring. So like, tell us a little bit about like, why is that? What is it about making it boring?
So most of our clients and prospects, before they've gone live, think that it's going to be this chaotic day, right? Like everybody's going to be calling and there's going to be all these problems. And so, how can we just prepare, which I will also make sure that they do. But we want that boring launch day. We want people to be sitting there looking at the launch kit that we've sent them, playing with a dance button, being able to reflect on the work that they've done up until that point so that those calls are calm.
Mhm.
I can directly correlate how that launch is going to go based upon how you've tested. And so when we're pressing you during the implementation to keep testing,
Mhm.
that's because you're going to have a boring launch day.
Yeah.
So I've seen everything from food trucks to people getting massages and playing with puppies.
I've seen the pets come be brought into the call center. Yeah.
Yes, having the puppies, um, that allows you to have those boring launches to really celebrate the work that you've done so that you're not stressing. You don't have that heartburn. You don't have the users calling in that are angry and frustrated.
Mhm.
You get to actually enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And to me, that's how you celebrate a really successful project is by being boring that day and that
Nice.
week.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to ask a couple follow-ups on what you said. One, I picked up on you saying something like the preparation that we did, um, making sure that they tested things because I mean, this is such a big impact, not just on the end users. You mentioned the end users, the customers or the members, but it's also a big impact on the frontline staff as well.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that Alchemy does differently to ensure that boring experience and to ensure that you have minimal negative impact on customers and on the frontline staff?
Yeah. So, what we really focus on throughout the implementation is not having a one size fits all solution. So, we're going to work directly with the client to understand what their needs are from a staffing perspective, understand what their call center looks like, what's the overflow plan, things along that line to really be able to tee up that experience. And we'll also align with our best practices. So, it's really important that, we're doing 40 of these a year. The client may do this once every 10.
Right, right.
So leaning into that and saying, here's what we're seeing. How can we help drive that experience?
Mhm,
And we surround them with a team of people.
mhm.
So everything from a technical consultant that knows the database, knows their core, to a project manager that's working with them, to a conversion engineer that knows the data. The team is really aligning in all of that to make sure that they're going to be successful, which leads to that boring
Mhm.
launch.
All right, Katie. So we've talked a lot about leading up to that launch day and making sure that it's boring, but like let's go behind the scenes a little bit and take us into launch day itself and then the subsequent days on the new platform. Like what do we do to ensure that that day and the subsequent days are successful?
Yeah.
Like give us a peek behind the curtain, if you will.
Sure. So our teams are right there with you. So we love to have a command center set up, usually in an operations department with their call center.
Mhm.
And we have a line open back to our HQ so that at any point in time, if something should arise, that we're all in lockstep together. So from being in the operations department, we sometimes will put people in the branches, which is really great if you have members or users walking in. And then also we have that line back to the team to say, hey, where are we? What do we need from the clients? So we are able to make any kind of live changes also because the team that's been supporting you throughout the duration of your project is the team that is there with
Yeah.
you.
And yeah, I guess something does come up. Like there's thousands of variables in this
Sure.
thing, and so you can do most that you can in order to ensure a successful launch. But something will have been missed, some edge case somewhere, and so we're able to kind of sounds like what you're saying is we can triage these things very
Absolutely.
rapidly and then just knock it all out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the great thing is that we will do executive touch points throughout the day and the weeks to follow to make sure that we're giving you what does the adoption rate look like? What are the calls that are coming in? How's the morale of the call center?
Mm,
And that's usually when we can start digging into what are the things that they're seeing
mm.
so that we can give those suggestions of like, hey, let's make sure people are getting in a little easier. Can we change some text? Can we help you triage anything from a call center overflow perspective? Things like that. And the team is there just specifically to do that.
Right. All right. Well, okay. So you said you've been involved in over 150 of these. You stopped counting then. So you're probably one of the most experienced people on the planet in doing seriously in doing digital banking conversions. There's probably not a lot of people that have done it more than you. So now I'm going to ask you, this is a tough one. What's like one piece of advice that you can give to a bank or a credit union that's looking to do a digital banking conversion and they want to make sure it's really successful?
So I would say first, even before you get to the success, I would say don't wait, right? Don't let the fear of doing a project like this lead your user experience. And so we are a team of experts that are waiting, right?
Yeah.
We're doing 40 of these a year.
Right.
So we're seeing what's the best in the industry and we're going to help guide you through that in a consultative way. I think as far as making sure that they're successful, it would be let's start looking at the resources that you have and how can we align them to your success. So making sure that they're teed up and ready is really what we're going to be a large part of making sure that you're able to do.
So pick one. Uh, don't wait.
Don't wait.
'Cause
Don't be driven by
it won't
fear.
yeah, it won't kill you. If you pick the right partner, shameless plug for us, but there's several good digital banking providers
Absolutely.
out there.
Yeah.
So pick the right partner
Yeah.
and then ensure that you've got the right plan and resources. And
Yeah.
if you do those things, this can be done and it won't be a big negative impact on your
Exactly.
customer base or your member
Yeah,
base.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. The team is, we're here, we're waiting, and we're ready to help make sure that you're successful and that your users and your brand and are the best that they can be.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yeah,
Katie. I appreciate it.
absolutely. I appreciate you.
All right. Bye.